I was born in the home of my grandfather, and my grandfather's home was located in the Chinese district of Shanghai. And that district was comparatively old, and my grandfather's house, although it was big, two-story house, but it was old, with an old yard, and I spent only 2 or 3 years there. And then after that, I moved out of my grandfather's home and moved to the British concession. The British concession is comparatively new compared to the old Chinese district. Well, we moved to a compound called Morris Village, and that Morris Village, the building in the Morris Village was really sophisticated at the time compared to all the buildings around it. And it was 6-story buildings, and most people living there were middle-class people or upper-middle-class people. And the place where I live was near to the French concession, and I love the French concession the most because it has a kind of atmosphere that is not very Chinese. I spent the first 20 years of my life in Shanghai with my mother, and when I was young, I didn't quite understand her. I was scared of her because she lost her temper very easily, and she blamed me for all her bad fate. So at that time, I was very afraid of her, and I didn't understand why she was so nasty to me. And then as I grew older, I started to understand her. When I look back, I realized that really she is a poor woman who needs people's sympathy. She blamed her fate on me, and because I brought bad luck to her and I caused the death of my father, that's why she was very angry with me. But actually, she was angry with her life there. And I think her story really tells the story of most of the people in Shanghai at that time. Before I left Shanghai, I was educated mostly in American missionary schools, and most of my teachers were American missionaries. I attended elementary school in Xie Rongjin school, elementary school, and I attended high school in McTeer Girls School and Mary Farnham School, and they were both American missionary schools. And I attended university in Shanghai University, which was American Baptist University. When I was studying in college in Shanghai University, I was very close to a professor called Miss Coleman, and she liked me a lot, and she encouraged me to study well. She always said that you have to study hard here, and after you graduate, I'll send you to America. So I always had a dream that one day I'd go to America to work like Miss Coleman, work for the church and work as a missionary. But then in 1949, I got in touch with a boyfriend, and he was influenced by his uncle, who was an underground communist. And from him, I got a lot of influence from about the communists, and I realized that communists are the people who really want to liberate the Chinese people, and they want to liberate a new world, a new China. So I believed in communism starting from 1949. After the liberation of Shanghai, all the American missionaries left Shanghai, and I was in the third year of college. And there was only 1 year before I can graduate from college. And in the first 3 years in college, all my tuition were paid by the American church. And now for the 4th year, I have nobody to pay pay the tuition for me. So I was very much worried. But just at that time, I attended a grand meeting. And in that meeting, the people announced that people want to study in college, wanted to go to Beijing to study, can take an examination to go to Beijing to study in college. I was really overjoyed. So I took the examination and passed the examination. And I was very glad to be able to go to Beijing and study in college. When I arrived at Beijing, I found myself in a college, a so-called college. But the name of the college was called North China People's Revolutionary College. And the first day I was there, the leader of the college made a long speech to us, telling us that since you all want to come to Beijing to study in college, here is your college. But our college is different from all the colleges you attended in the past. I spent 7 months in that college doing the so-called ideological reform, that is to change the way I thought all my life. Because the leader of that college thought that we were educated in bourgeois colleges. That means we were educated with bourgeois ideology. So they want to change our bourgeois ideology into proletarian ideology, that the way the proletarians think. So we study Marxism, Leninism, and we study also Mao Zedong thought and all the communist books. And after studying that, we have to compare the way we behave and the way we thought before we came to that college. I was born in Shanghai, and I consider Shanghai my hometown, and I love Shanghai very much. But after I came to the United States, I went back to visit Shanghai, and I found it completely changed. And I found myself a completely stranger in Shanghai. I want people who live in Shanghai to know how it was in Shanghai, how people live in Old Shanghai. And I also want to tell the story of my mother, because I regret that I didn't understand her when I was young. And now I start to understand her. Actually, her story tells the story of most women who live in Old Shanghai.